8 hours to go of the summer transfer window, which means there's only 6 hours until our deadline day special gets underway at 9 PM, and we are live for 2 hours, and we kick it off with Harry Redknapp, and we've got special guests lined up for the entire evening as well. So if you're free tonight at 9 PM, do come and join us live on this channel. However, the latest is that West Ham are trying to sign Carney Chukwuemeka from Chelsea. It will be a season-long loan, and it will make sense for all parties, but we face competition from Man United. They are now trying to sign Chukwuemeka on loan as well. But the reason that this one would make sense is because he's just struggling for game time. When he came through the academy at Villa Park, he was hotly tipped to be the next big thing. There was a lot of hype about him, a player with loads of potential, moved to Chelsea at such a young age, and he struggled for first team football. Now, we haven't seen loads of him in a Chelsea shirt. However, I do recall his first ever senior goal, unfortunately, because it was against us a year ago at the London Stadium. Fantastic goal it was as well. He picked up sort of inside our box and cut inside onto his right foot and bent it into that far corner. I think he's only got 2 senior goals for Chelsea, and one was against us. But since going to Chelsea, he's struggled for game time, and that is absolutely no reflection on him. And if you have a look at the current squad and the competition he's got Cole Palmer and Nkunku that like to play in that position. Now he's an attacking midfielder, central attacking midfielder, so if we were to bring him in and he was to play immediately, where would he go? In that number 10 role is possibly his best position. So at Chelsea you've got Nkunku, you've got Palmer, you've got Felix there, you've got Madueke, you've got Mudryk, they've just signed Neto. There is a lot of competition for him. So I think it makes sense for him to get out of Chelsea. I think it makes sense for Chelsea to only loan him out because he's still a really good player with a lot of potential. They don't need to sell him. So letting him go, play football somewhere else for a year, just makes sense. And it makes sense for West Ham because I think we've got options in that area of the pitch. However, one of those options may not be available for the entire season. Now, the options in which Lopetegui chooses, not me, Lopetegui, is Paqueta and Thomas Souček. We may see Irving used there occasionally if required. Kudus can obviously play there, but we've yet to see him play there under Lopetegui. So at the minute, the 2 main choices are Paqueta and Souček. I think that's fair to say. But there's obviously that betting allegations hanging over Paqueta's head, and the hearing is set to happen at some point this season. Now, it's reported it will be January, February time, so we should have him for the majority of the season at worst. However, I can't help but feel that if we were to go ahead with this signing, it's a bit of an insurance policy. So Paqueta does get found guilty, he does get hit with a ban for this season at least. We're okay, we will already have cover. The last thing we want to do is go into the January transfer window and have to try and sign a replacement for Lucas Paqueta. Now, I'm not saying Chukwuemeka is the same ability of player or anything like that. However, I think it would be an astute signing from West Ham. One player that could contribute to the season, even if Paqueta's available, he could still force his way into the first team. He's certainly good enough. But like I said, if Paqueta gets suspended, we've already got the backup there. So that's who we're after at the moment. But like I said, we face competition from Man United. Moving on to Carlos Soler. He flew over from France earlier, so he should be having had his medical today ahead of that deadline later on tonight. Because we're well into the afternoon now, he will not be able to play against Manchester City tomorrow if he signs. That deadline was 12 noon today. But 11 PM tonight is the cut-off for this one. Now, we can sign him and submit the paperwork pending a medical, so if we don't get it complete, we can complete it tomorrow, and then upon completion of the medical, we can then get that signing done. But I'm quite confident Soler will be joining on loan. It's back to the 20 million euro mark. It was 25 for a couple of weeks. It's back to the 20 million euros. So it's a loan with an option to buy. West Ham will be paying his wages. However, the option to buy has a clause on it, and it's such a minimal appearances or something. I don't know, 5-10 games or something like that, and it becomes an obligation to buy for 20 million euros. So it's an option, but very likely to hit it. Same as Jean-Claire Todibo. It's an option to buy, but the threshold to turn into an obligation is so low, it's almost impossible not to hit it. So it looks like Soler will become a West Ham player, and it looks like James Ward-Prowse will become a Nottingham Forest player, and this is a straight loan move. No option to buy, no obligation to buy. It's just a case of getting James Ward-Prowse's wages off the book for the season, and then hopefully He has a good season there, retains his value. Nottingham Forest would hopefully want him in a year's time. We'll discuss this deal in more depth. I'm just trying to do an update video because it might, in 3 hours time, this might be off. But the latest is James Ward-Prowse has travelled to Nottingham for a medical. He should be having that today as well, and all goes well, he will join Nottingham Forest on loan for the remainder of the season. Same situation with Maxwel Cornet and Southampton, but there will be an option to buy in this one, and West Ham's fee will be dependent on Southampton surviving relegation and remaining in Premier League. There was a couple of other clubs came in for Cornet, including Crystal Palace. However, he still looks likely to go to Southampton, who have been the front runners for the last 24 hours or so for this one. So my predictions are that we'll get Solar, Ward-Prowse will go Forest, Cornet will go to Southampton, but Nayef Aguerd has proven difficult to move on. We know he was in negotiations with a Saudi club. Apparently he has rejected them because they're not good enough. He's now decided he will wait until a bigger club comes along. Fiorentina have been linked to him, but the talk is that he wants to move to Spain. We know he's turned down Germany, ideally France, but no French clubs can afford him. So now there's a couple of Italian clubs that are linked to, Spanish clubs that have been linked to him, including Villarreal. So West Ham are still looking to get Aguerd out of the club. They want him to go away, to be sold, get the money in, but he's proven a difficult asset to move. He's not too keen. He's not just leaving West Ham. He's being picky as to where he wants to go, which he's perfectly entitled to do so. And I'm not saying he shouldn't be doing that, but it's on his terms that he will leave West Ham. However, a lack of centre-backs being linked to West Ham at the minute, so we'll have to wait and see. But by the sounds of it, Zuma will complete his move. Aguerd could leave, but no centre-backs will be arriving unless something drastically changes. Now, 8 hours is a long time on deadline day, so something could change just like that. Is it actually Carney Chukwuemeka we're after, or is it actually Shalaban? Chukwuemeka's a bit of a smokescreen. I'm inclined to believe that it is Chukwuemeka that we're after. We might go after Shalaban as well. We can get 2 Premier League loans in, so there is space there for that to happen, especially if Aguerd disappears as well as Zuma. But at the minute, surprisingly, no centre-back. So, if all goes to plan for West Ham, as far as we're aware, tomorrow morning our centre-back options will be Mavropanos, Kilman, Todibo, and then it would be academy player Casey. I'm not against it. But that's the latest transfer rumours in regards to West Ham. We're live at 9 PM. Gonzo will be back later on this afternoon on the Forum channel, giving you an update as to what's going on in terms of the West Ham news. But 9 PM tonight, we are live and we're kicking off the show with Harry Redknapp. And you can expect to see other faces you recognise, including the likes of Nick from Clat and Booze. We've got Chris Akabusi. Got quite a few guests lined up over 2 hours, so make sure you pop back then. And we'll see you tonight. But before you disappear, please do drop a like on the video, Scouting Amps chat, and I'll see you at 9.